your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show. Everyone.
Hello. Love that music.
Yeah, the music is jivey. I like it. It's really chill. Yeah. Anyway, what's going on, y'all? Thank you guys for so much for joining. We are back with another episode of The Unusual Mavericks, and I'm your host and moderator, Kwame Speaks, joined by the handsome and bearded one, Just Dominic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We have got quite a show.
We do. We
say that every week, but this is really packed.
This one is a little crazy today. So shout out to you, Sister Michelle. Thank you for joining.
Hello,
appreciate
Michelle.
You. She said, two beautiful black men and elders. I love you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in. Do us a quick favor while you are here. Make sure you share it to the other blurs and nerds out there. Please go ahead and make sure you hit that like button as well. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to check out all the unusual things that are happening here at Pyro Media Network and the Mavericks. Be a Maverick. Join us. Yes, it's fun.
That's
all right, y'all. We got a lot to talk about today. Hey, Michaela, how you doing, Queen? Appreciate you, little sis. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. But before we get into anything, because today we're going to be talking about who is Matt Baker. A lot to talk about on him. And just kind of figuring out, getting to know and deep diving into his story. Dominic did a phenomenal job of researching him, and I'm really excited to learn more about who he is and what he does. But before we do us a favor and feel free to hit us on that Cash App if you search. I still need yours, Just Dominic.
Okay, I'll put up my Cash App sometimes, but very soon I will. The next episode. But I do have my website information and everything is out there. So
yes.
Please feel free to support me there. That would be awesome.
I will put it in. There we go. I'll do that. I'll put it in here as well, so that way people can find it.
There you go.
Yep. And then yes, sir. All right. So let's get into it. Hey, Dr. Holt, how you doing? Appreciate you.
In the building.
Dr. Holt, he's like, so I'm late. Catrice was giving a word. She was. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, I had to leave. I was like, oof.
Catrice was giving a word, honey, and I can't wait to finish the rest of it. I have to jump.
I know.
But for those who don't know, check out Cocktails with Catrice. She is everything. Okay, yes. That queen. She. Whew.
I had to leave a little early because I was like, I need to clear my head space.
Right.
Get my thoughts on this.
Right. All right, y'all. Well, let's go ahead and get into the Maverick Alert. We have a couple of things that we need to break some news on. So let's get on into it. All right, y'all. So we have some breaking news. Unfortunately, first up, we do have one thing, unfortunately, to talk about, that the passing of Jamie Christopher happened today. Jamie Christopher was the assistant director for Marvel, and he Marvel films, including Guardians of the Galaxy and the entire Harry Potter franchise. He passed away today in Los Angeles from heart complications. He was 52. During his nearly 3-decade career, Christopher became a frequent collaborator with directors like James Gunn and Rian Johnson, along with Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige. Jamie was a good friend, and he loved making movies, Rian Johnson said in a statement. He first worked with Christopher on Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and later on Knives Out. He loved his crew, loved his job, the process of it and the history of it. He was truly one of the greats, and this is a heartbreaking loss for everyone who was lucky enough to work with him. Christopher began his assistant directing career in 1992 as third AD on David Fincher's 1992 film Alien 3. In 1997, he was the second unit first AD on Luc Besson's cult classic sci-fi film The Fifth Element, starring Bruce Willis, Gary Oldman, and Mila Jovovich, and 2 years later joined Stephen Sommers as second AD on The Mummy. Soon after, Christopher joined production for the first installment of the Harry Potter franchise, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, where he served as the second unit's first AD. He is survived. He then worked on James Gunn in 2014 for Guardians of the Galaxy, along with other films from Marvel, including Avengers: Age of Ultron, Thor: The Dark World, and Black Widow, and had been ready to start work on Fantastic Four. Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige and Louis D. Esposito said in a statement, "We're incredibly saddened by Jamie's passing. He had been a part of the Marvel Studios team for over a decade and on productions like Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Black Widow, and more. He was a calm presence behind the camera and a wonderful, supportive crew member on set," said James Gunn. Christopher is survived by his wife, Carly, and their children, Kellyanne, and Jasmine, as well as his son, Teddy, daughters, Ophelia and Stella. So we wish all of those who were affected by this death and who are friends and family of this man and even knew him, some God's covering and peace over their lives. I know death is not always easy, and transition is not always, it's difficult. It can be difficult. All right. So, sorry to start off all sad, but we had to get that out the way. Next up, we have some news coming out of DC, actually some hot tea. And I'm going to leave that to Dominic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is quite a story. Just yesterday, I believe that this broke, less than 24 hours. Former president of DC Entertainment, Diane Nilsson, she was interviewed by bleedingcool.com. Boy, does she drop some tea. The former president talked about that the former owners of Warner Brothers Studio, which was AT&T, really pushed DC's approach to catch up with Marvel's box office success. And according to the former president of DC Entertainment, they were there for the whole Zack Snyder Justice League debacle. She served at Warner Brothers for 22 years, and she was president of DC Entertainment for 9. She said there were lots of issues with the Marvel DC comparison during her tenure at the company. She said certainly there was an undercurrent of frustration that they had not hitting the mark. Marvel was succeeding and DC was not. But a lot of people didn't realize, she said, that we were not a standalone studio the way that Marvel was. So they had no president, they had no budget, So every single project that they had was outsourced to different production teams. And again, they were owned by a communications company, a company that had no understanding, a phone company. She really threw shade right there to really express, we were owned by a phone company, guys, and they had no idea how to make movies. So now that this whole thing is over and AT&T sold to Discovery, and Discovery obviously has a lot of knowledge of how studios should be ran, and now created a studio that James Gunn is a part of, she really has a lot of high hopes. But she went on to talk about the Justice League, the Justice League, the original movie or cinematic film that was released under Joss Whedon, which was a box office failure, as we all know. It really hurt the franchise. It hurt the brand immensely. It was kind of the start of their whole bad luck spree. Like, people just don't have faith in the DC brand. But she called that movie a Frankenstein cut, because some of the footage was done by Zack Snyder. He was called away, unfortunately, because his daughter decided to expire. by her own means and her own hands. So, of course, like any father, any mother, because his wife was involved in the movie too, they stepped away from the film to grieve the loss of their child. So Josh Whedon stepped in, as we all know, and he just destroyed that. So here, Diane, the former president that you have on the screen, referred to the cut as the Frankenstein cut. And of course, she wanted to make sure to bring up that he was like a shiny new penny. Josh Whedon. He did the Avengers movies, Endgame, all these Marvel movies, and they were fantastic. We all love them. However, there were a lot of issues with Josh that I guess Marvel kind of swept under the rug, and he had a history of racial harassment and sexual harassment. We know that my Ray Fisher, reported abuse about his time with Josh Whedon, and so did Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot, as some people call her, and Jason Momoa really stepped in to back those claims and charges that Josh Whedon was a terrible and abusive person. He openly used the N-word, according to sources, according to Ray Fisher, and constantly put not just him down, but also members of the crew that happened to be minorities as well. He referred to people in very derogatory terms. So during that tenure at DC, as you said, DC Entertainment under Diane Nilsson, it was just terrible. And I remember we really harshly criticized her. And she was technically the last person over DC, which means that Walter Armada worked under her as her assistant. And he worked in the division only of the streaming platform of the former HBO Max. So she really made it clear, and I love how she painted it, that we just okayed budgets. That was our role. We were not over approving scripts. We had none of that power, and that's why it was such a mess. But Josh Whedon not only harassed Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot, but also the leads of the series from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. God, say that 5 times fast. Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That series, it was a hit in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was a really good show. And the leads reported a lot of harassment, again, racial, and hey, girl, how you doing, sis? Glad you made it over. Sorry you had to miss the end, but we'll catch up. Yeah. So it was, he was a man drunk with power, really into white male privilege and power. And so since then, he was terminated from, he's not allowed to work at Disney because, Disney has a policy, and Warner Brothers has terminated him from everything as well. This is the guy, if I can say Whedon. That.
Yeah, this is Josh Whedon, and this is Ray Fisher and Josh Whedon. Ray Fisher was one of the ones that started the
he reignited. Actually,
I wouldn't say started, but he reignited this is AKA Dominic's husband. Anyway, but yes, he played Cyborg in the original in the Snyderverse rather version of Justice League, and as you can see, was just a phenomenal. I thought he was probably the best representation of Cyborg, in my personal opinion. But it happens, and when you have people with this type of power and coming into systems, trying to take over and just be horrible human beings, this is what you get. So
that's right. And as we see, and he's worked in this industry since the 90s. You got Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is clearly a white woman. She's blonde even. And you would think they would listen to her. And what's the other woman on Buffy, the brunette? She played the lesbian.
Oh, the one that played Willow?
Yes. Or that actress. She has really come out against him. I think there's even a lawsuit, according to the Hollywood Reporter, that's still going on. And so this guy really,
There was a brunette that was Charisma Carpenter who played Cordelia, and then there was another brunette, the one that was a lesbian that played Willow, who was
yes, it was Willow.
Allison Hannigan is her name. Allison
Okay.
Hannigan. Yeah, and it looks like
It's the Michelle.
Was it Michelle?
Yeah, it was Michelle.
Michelle, Sarah Michelle Gellar or Michelle Trachtenberg?
Both of them.
Ah, okay. So Michelle Trachtenberg played Dawn Summers, and she was Buffy's little sister.
Oh, okay. So both women claimed sexual abuse and that he used racial slurs and that he kept their set very toxic during the run of that series.
I believe that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But he was still so powerful, he kind of silenced them. But when Ray Fisher, years later, stepped up, and Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa really helped push it forward, that this guy needs to be set down. So he kind of ruined his career. Really ruined his career, actually. Nobody wants to work with him now.
Well, it is what it is.
So so the former president brought that all to light, and she wished James Gunn a really good tenure, and Peter Safran as well, because she believes that they'll be able to do more with a DC studio than she was with the DC entertainment division at a wireless network.
I see it. I see it. I don't. This is going.
It was funny the way she said it, right?
It is what it is. We have these issues, and we see that, and we're starting to see a lot more, white men, well, not as much as we would like, but we're starting to see, justice coming to some of these white men and some of the issues that have been going on with some of these white men, and really kind of seeing their feet being put towards the fire. So, I just pray people like him, don't continue to talk about the women and the men and anybody who is experiencing this, continue to fight truth to power, or to speak truth to power rather.
He got caught up in the tail end, it looks like, of the Me Too movement.
Yeah, people nowadays, you can't get away with that. It's just not cute. It's not the way to go.
Yeah, it's not, and you can't walk around calling people by racial slurs.
Right,
it's just insane.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, let's get into some blurred news. Right quick. We have some quick things that we want to talk about before we get into some things here. Where are we at? There we go. All right, I had to make sure I had it up before I put this down. All right, let's get into some blurred news. So first up, we want to talk about Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, you guys know we do DC and updates on Marvel Studios and DC. So Marvel,
delays.
Yeah, the delays. We have a lot of delays, y'all.
Delays, and more delays.
A lot of delays. My God, on today it's been a little crazy. This is ridiculous. So the Marvels are delayed again.
They were coming out when? Next month? Was it October? No, it was November, right?
They were set to release November 10th of 2023. They've been pushed back to March 14th. That's a new projected date. March 14th of 2024.
Wow.
So we're gonna be having some delays with them. So if you were looking forward to the Marvels, you're gonna have to wait. I don't know what's going on with their assets, but that's what's going on right now. So we'll see what's going on there. Next, we have Kraven. If you were looking forward to Kraven, so sorry, but that girl, he's being pushed back too. They were projected to come out in October of 2023, and they're being pushed all the way back to August of 2024.
That's a year.
And however, the date is now fluid. So we don't even know if that's going to be the actual date of when Kraven is going to be released. So that sounds like a bunch of reshoots is what it sounds like.
Well, it sounds like, they say, I guess Spider-Man is in that movie, and it sounds like he is under contract to do a bunch of different stuff, so they just have to reset schedules.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Next up, girl. So y'all know how I feel about this. This one pissed me off. So Blade is Every time I think about it, it just gives me gas, child. So Blade is scheduled to be pushed back. It was allegedly scheduled to be. It was planned, sorry, to be pushed back to November 3rd. They haven't even started filming.
No.
So I don't know what the hell that was about.
Right?
So they're pushing it back to allegedly September 6th, 2024. Now they're saying that it's undated, which means that we don't even know if it's going to even come out.
Or when it's going to come out. It could be delayed for 6 months, another year. They don't know.
Or it could never come out.
Or it could be, yeah, you're right.
Most movies that become undated tend to have unless they have like a really big, destination, like a really big reason for it to be pushed out. Most movies that are undated don't typically come out. So
the struggle is real with us still. God, they don't.
One more black movie that's going to be delayed, and that was doing really well. Spider-Man Beyond what is it? Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yes,
it's delayed.
It's actually undated, right?
They delayed it at first. Let me make sure I'm getting my stuff right. Yes, it went to March 29th, 2024. Now it's undated. And that was the animated show that actually, or the animated movie that did really, really well for Marvel. They made them a lot of money, and they didn't even expect it because they were like,
and they didn't want to. Remember, they didn't even want to do this.
Yeah, and now look at them. So. And then we have some other ones. I didn't bother getting pictures for them because I'm just pissed. So just over it. Also, Daredevil, Born Again, and Deadpool 3 are now reportedly undated. And then we have the Marvel's the Marvel's Thunderbolts is undated as well. Venom 3 and Wonder Man are all undated.
Yeah, we a lot of people don't know much about Wonder Man, but he is kind of like Wonder Woman, but a man for Marvel.
He's Marvel's Wonder Woman, basically.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
It's an island of men. What are all these men doing on the island?
Is it an island of men? I don't think it's
I don't know.
I don't think that's the storyline. But the reason, yeah.
I'm just being silly. But I was really looking forward to learning more about him because I don't know much about. I've heard about him, but I don't know much about him.
He has pretty much the same powers as Wonder Woman.
With his bracelets, right?
I don't think he has bracelets, but he doesn't have a lasso, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Now let's get to DC.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this is exhausting. Dune, which I was really freaking excited about, was scheduled to be released on November 3rd, okay? But now has been delayed to March 15th, 2024. Now, Dune is a really good dang on show, or movie rather. And I was really, really looking forward to this. Zendaya is in it. I forget this guy's name. It's just a really, really good movie.
Momoa was in it. He did fantastic in the first one.
Yes, he did.
He was like really one of the strongest characters in that movie.
Yeah. This whole cast was really, really good.
Really good.
Really, really good cast. And just a really great storyline. And we're looking at this probably because all of these delays are happening because of the writers' strike. But
absolutely.
And also just the strike overall with the SAG-AFTRA strike now, because that's really what's pushing all of this. This is not good for a lot of these studios and companies that move production companies. It's not good. We also have some Max news. The Penguin is delayed as well. The Penguin, where is it? Okay, they've moved it to undated. Yes. I don't know what the hell's going on with them. I was actually really looking forward to this. This is being played by what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name?
Colin Farrell.
Thank you, Colin Farrell. Which I know it doesn't even look like him, but let me get a side by side of Colin Farrell and the makeup that they did. Shout out to the makeup artists and special effects that they did that, because it doesn't even look like Colin at all.
Right?
At all.
Not at all. And what a fantastic job he did. in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what they were in post-production, I think. Oh, they were at the end of I can't remember where they were. So
they were in post.
They were in post. So it's sad to hear that.
And like post in the fact that like they were ready to release. Like they were ready
final touches.
Yeah. Another thing that pissed me off.
It's your favorite show.
It really is. Sandman is gone. Well, not gone. Sorry. Sandman is season 2 has become undated, which really ticked me off. This was probably DC's best show that they have come out with.
Recently, they've made a lot of money.
They've made a lot, and I'm gonna watch it again because it's just that damn good. This is really a phenomenal damn show. But I believe that once again we're having these issues because of these strikes.
Yes, absolutely. But it's necessary. So analysts have been saying because of all of this undatedness and
we're not done, Dominic. Because also,
okay.
What is it? Season 5 of Superman and Lois has become undated.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Huge deal. Also, just because I didn't have time to get all of this. Let me go to. There we go. Warner Brothers. Avatar 3. It looks like they may have an 8-year delay. Okay.
Oh my God.
With its release being pushed back from December 2024 to December 19th, 2025, the other planned sequels have been pushed back even further. Avatar 4, which was set for a 2026 release, is now scheduled to release on December 21st, 2029. And Avatar 5 has been moved from 2028 to December 19th, 2031.
Oh my God. Will I be alive?
Cal, listen. I don't understand.
We're gonna be willing in there. Well, I don't want to say that, but you know what I'm saying. From Shady Pines.
This is crazy. Absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on this, Dominic?
Well, I also read that the Star Trek franchise has also been delayed. Discovery was supposed to drop, I believe, in the next couple of months, a few weeks from now. And that may be pushed back as well. So I read that Forbes magazine and other companies are doing a financial analyst report, and they're saying that this could actually be a good thing for every single studio. Why? The ticket prices to go to the movies are extremely high. It's at least $50 a person right now if you want drinks and refreshments, or you want IMAX. So those types of things are causing people to pick and choose which movie that they're going to. So with a scattered release date from all studios, it's less competition. And so remember back in the olden days, for those who used to go to the movies in the 80s, when a movie dropped, because we didn't have all these movies being released at the same time back then, you would go and 4, 5, 6 theaters are showing that same film. So what else are you going to see? So that's what they're hoping that people will do, is one new release a month or every other month during this shortage is going to cause people to go see movies that they may not necessarily give a chance or wait to come to video or their streaming platform. They'll go and see it in theaters because there's nothing else coming out for the next couple of months. That is the ideal right now.
Can I just say this? And I know this may be a little random, but this is right before we go and start talking about Matt Baker. We're going to take a commercial break and then go into Maverick time and really talk about this man. I think he's amazing. But I want to say this. I think we're in a space right now that if we're going to get into a space of fixing all of these different things in terms of how movies, because we're going back, it feels like we're going back to a space where it was less competition and more about the fans. It was less competition and more about the audience. It was less competition and more about the quality of the work and how it was done. Because you didn't have It was less about greed and trying to throw out all of these different shows, and more about the people and what they could afford. One month we went to go see Lion King. We knew that the next month we didn't have to worry about the Lion King and Little Mermaid being played at the same time. Yes,
Right.
they're both a part of the same franchise, but I'm just throwing that out as an example.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You had something for the adults. You had something for the kids. You had something, and it was once a month you had different things. Okay, let's go and take a family trip. Now it was like, okay, we have 4 movies coming out. We don't, and then there's the feeling of like the pressure of, FOMO, where people are feeling like they're going to be missing out on something or whatever. And then a budget, a pending recession. It's a lot going on, and people don't have time to be spending $4,000 just to go see a dang on movie for 3 hours.
And for people who love Godzilla as well, that movie was going to be coming. They were going to have 3 releases back to back. It was going to be Dune, the Marvels, and then Godzilla.
Yeah, and
so now they're all spread
out
right now.
Yeah,
so that's the way it should be.
And honestly, Dominic, to the point of what the pandemic did, it kind of reset everybody and said, whoa, wait a minute. Because people were seeing stuff at home. And they're like, well, I don't have to spend that much thing on money just to watch something at home. We could all have a little party. I could have my friends over or whatever, and we could watch a movie, or I could watch it with my family for $20 instead of $40 bucks a pop.
Exactly.
That can get pricey for the average family, for the
working class.
The working class, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So it's really interesting because I don't think this industry has ever suffered a recession before. But the studio industry is in recession and with the strike. So thank Disney, everybody.
We're not in recession yet. We're in inflation.
No, I'm not talking about the overall economy. I'm talking about the movie industry is indeed in a recession. When Disney itself has never been in debt as much as they have been now, $40 billion in debt, just one studio. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all these studios are carrying billions of dollars in debt. They have never reported this kind of debt before. So this particular industry is indeed in a recession. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're fighting for all of the streaming rights and streaming money, is because they want all that money to help dig themselves out of this recession. But they can't do it that way. So thank Disney, everyone.
Yeah, so, Dr. Hope just said I couldn't tell you the last time I went to a movie, and honestly, a lot of my friends, have told me that too. They're like, I can't tell you when the last time I went to an actual movie.
Exactly. The climate has changed, like you said. The recession changed a lot of people's ways on how we entertain ourselves, and so this industry has got to rethink how they work if they want to stay alive. That's just the bottom line, and this spacing out is really because what's his name, Roger Iger, the CEO of Disney, is holding out with this recession. If he would have given in to their terms, they would go back to work. And now this new schedule wouldn't be out. But I think it's a great schedule, actually. I'm fine with it.
Is this him?
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
The CEO of Disney. He refused to give in to and that idiot. That's the former CEO, but he's on the board. Still, he's a majority stockholder of Disney. Yeah. And he's definitely a Klan member. But these guys, allegedly, my feelings, my opinions, but based upon all of his outward hatred for every minority group and his outward hatred, even his funds go to prevent human rights. Anyway, this guy, though, is not that other guy, but he is, Roger Iger, is holding out, refusing to just meet the terms that are absolutely reasonable for the working class man. I'm really frustrated with that.
Yep.
But whatever, we'll see. Yep.
We'll see how it goes. And we pray a quick and speedy situation. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and head into a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into some Maverick talk about what seems to be just an amazing human being, and just, a lot that I didn't even know about him. And he is the first Black comic book artist. And so his name is Matt Baker. And when we come back, we're going to delve into his backstory and all of that jazz. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Unusual Mavericks. This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletandflightradio.com. Bullet and Flight Radio. Your story, our station. Step away from the chaos and noise of your daily life. Experience moments for yourself that are calm, serene, and full of peace. A necessary respite to foster growth within you, because self-care should be luxurious. Lux and Noir. And we're black on popular demand, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Huh?
After this, I'm going to turn on the radio station and put on my Lux Noir candle.
You did not hurt the kidney. You are a mess. Anyway, if you are just tuning in, hit that like button, share if you haven't done so already, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget that this is a bully-free zone, and your opinions matter. So go ahead and feel safe and free to send in your thoughts in the comments. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for doing so. We appreciate you. And anything that we play is fair use, and we are doing it in support of the Copyright Act of 1976. Okay, praise God. All right, let's go ahead and get into some Maverick talk. Okay.
Yes.
Maverick talk time. Maverick talk time. I didn't even have the damn slide up.
I love this. This is a new slide. I love it. We're gonna talk about a real life Maverick.
Oh, you talking about the graphic? My bad.
The graphic. Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to Pyro Media Productions. Let me go ahead and get over to how you doing. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right. So if you guys have been following along with us, we have been really getting into. Oh, and also shout out to all of the Cupcake is laughing. Hey, Walter, how you doing, King? Thank you for joining. Appreciate you.
Walt B.
Walt B in the house. Roars, not purrs. Oh, okay. All right. Wow.
You too much.
She's hilarious. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into. So if you guys have been following the past couple of episodes of The Unusual Mavericks, you'll know that Dominic has done a phenomenal job at Dominic has done a phenomenal job at curating this show and finding out, doing research on all of these amazing people. Our first week, we talked about oh my God, why am I forgetting his name?
Helene Flowers.
Thank you, Helene Flowers. The next one we talked about Afua Richardson. Thank you. And all of it's been a long day. So, and all of the amazing stuff that she has done. So just amazing work that they have done. And today we're going to be going a little bit further back into history and who is Matt Baker. So I want to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about, we want to talk to you guys a little bit about Matt Baker and who he is and what he's done. So Clarence Matthew Baker was an American comic book artist and illustrator, best known for his early comic heroines such as the costume crime fighter Phantom Lady and romance comics. Prevented by a heart condition from being drafted into the U.S. military during World War II, he began studying art at Cooper Union in New York City. Shout out to New York. And so in the 1940s and 1950s, Clarence Matthew Baker was widely regarded as the master of the good girl style and is credited as the first successful Black comic book artist in the comic industry. Baker, who lived from from 1921 to 1959 was an American comic book artist and illustrator whose heroes and heroines included Vuda and the costume crime fighter Phantom Lady. This is one of them. Yes. And Lady, during his career, he drew more than 1,000 pages of comics and over 200 covers. Baker was inducted into the Will Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame in 2009. Later in the decade, Baker freelanced for Atlas Comics, the 1950s forerunner of Marvel Comics, beginning with a five-page anthological story, generally, if unconformingly, oh my god, I can't talk today. Credited to writer-editor Stan Lee. Now, you had some tea on this.
Yes, let's go. Let's dive into this because I just need to dive into what you just said. So first point I want to make is in 2009, Matt Baker was inducted into the Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame. That is the equivalent to getting an Oscar.
Yes, in the comic industry.
Correct. This is the equivalent to getting and receiving an Oscar. That is a huge deal. So obviously he had long since passed away. So this was so he is definitely in the Hall of Fame and should have received that when he was alive. Shame on you white people. Anyway, so he is, I believe, the only African American male that is a part of this elite group of people, and he did not receive it while he was alive, unfortunately. As well as he created the precursor to Marvel Comics. I want people to understand that Stan Lee was credited for creating the Hulk, Spider-Man, and a bunch of your other favorite, the Fantastic Four. Stan Lee is credited for creating these characters for Marvel Comics. The Fantastic Four was the very first family of Marvel, and is credited for the success of Marvel's early years.
Yes.
This black man created a lot of that and was uncredited. How much of Marvel would he own today, or his ancestors? These are things that they rob us of.
Yep. Speak on it.
So this is so that's what I wanted to say. There was a lot of work in those years. The comic book writers, the starving artists, as you can imagine, they would get together and they would create short stories and whatnot. Stan Lee took that and created Marvel Comics, the Hulk, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's a bloody shame.
It really is. It really is. Now, one thing that we did some research on, and we could not confirm this, but y'all could look at him and assume. We have to say allegedly, unfortunately, because he never came out and said and confirmed this. But Baker's friend Frank Gusto and artist Lee J. Ames have said that Baker was gay. Baker's brother Fred Robinson added of Baker and St. John Publications publisher Archer St. John. They had a very close relationship. I don't know exactly what it was, but they were close.
They lived together for decades. You spoke that Matt Baker wrote love novels. Guess what? Romance novels. Guess what? They were same sex. They were same sex novels. I've checked into it. So if he wasn't gay, there was a whole lot of smoke. So and I've seen a lot of photos of
Dr. Holt. You think everybody's a gal?
No. I seen Dr. Holt is correct. He took a picture with this Italian gentleman that we're talking about, and they were very cozy. It was one of those old black and white photographs, and as you can see, this brother is very fair skinned. So to live in New York and the freedom of that day to have an Italian friend and roommate.
Maybe they were just roommates. Maybe they were just really, really close.
And he wrote romance stories that involved same-sex couples. So
He had an imagination.
Okay. I think he did his research. He's very handsome. He was very handsome man.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Oh, New York. Yeah, he was a gal. What does that mean?
They said he was a confirmed bachelor. That's the term that they used in quotes. So we all know what that means.
What does that mean, Dominic?
A confirmed bachelor? Dr. Holt, you're an educator. What does that mean?
He's gonna be like, that's a gal.
Right.
Michelle Holly says brother Matt Baker appears to be able to pass for a non-melanated man.
Yeah. Exactly. So I see how he was able to gain the success. To have a white lover as well did not hurt him, but helped his career. So yeah. And he wrote some of the early stories for Marvel Book Comics, got it off the ground, and was uncredited and unrewarded and unpaid. Exactly, Dr. Hope.
Let me just say, a confirmed bachelor means gay.
That's right.
Yes, y'all are a terrible match. Yeah, he could have been really, really close with his friend, his roommate.
Yep. The pictures that they took were very close indeed.
Okay. So we salute you, sir. We thank you for all of your accomplishments and everything that you've done. And I want to thank Dominic for finding this out, because I did not even know about him. And I had kind of viewed, just as a Marvel nerd, kind of viewed Stan Lee as like the comic godfather,
So did I, sweet old man.
Yeah, and I think that he still was, but I think that because of racism, or it could have been Marvel itself that stole, or
please, we overcame. Stan Lee could have wrote that man a check.
Could have. I mean, I can't argue with you, but at the end of the,
but you know what though? Go ahead.
Let's see on CNN. Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow on Pyro Power Hour. Like the old couple were confirmed bachelors. Like the odd couple.
Exactly. No, but the good thing is that
on the news as of today. You know what?
That's right. Everywhere, definitely in a church. But getting back to this gentleman, he did not let that destroy him. He did not die of alcoholism or drug abuse. He had a bad heart. He was born with that genetic defect, and unfortunately, it ended his life a little earlier than expected.
Yeah.
So, kudos to this man. He did so much. He literally laid the groundwork for Marvel Studios. Isn't it ironic that we do stuff like this? We get no credit, and they make billions of dollars off our backs.
It's frustrating, but I think we're coming to a turning point in history where we're starting to show and find out all of these things. As long as we continue to have shows like the Unusual Mavericks that are highlighting these things, I think, and there's a lot of other podcasts in the Black nerd world. We didn't even have a blurred world back then. Now there's so many Black podcasters out there and voices within the Black nerd community that are talking about these things and having conversations and highlighting not just Marvel and DC characters that are Black, but also just showing representation and talking about the history that has been hidden from us and the history that's not really talked about, the true history of this country. And so I just want us to continue to be vigilant and diligent in making sure that we're staying educated and we inform our younger blurs about their history and what beautiful things that they have going on.
Absolutely. And a lot of people who want to be authors, they may not want to write comic books, but they want to write different things.
Yeah.
And every single person that we've talked about, this is only a segment of what they wrote and what their career was about.
Yeah.
And
now, Michaela said Stanley can at least give his descendants, if he hasn't, the family still alive, if his family's still alive, a check. I mean, I don't know if he has any living descendants right now, because he was a confirmed bachelor and I don't think he had any kids. But
he didn't have any kids, but I'm sure he has descendants.
And family, yeah. I'm sure, yeah.
But
I also want to make sure that you guys know about, just like we did with Helene Flowers, make sure you guys know about that you can go online to get on Amazon. I think it's like $10, $8 or $10 or whatever. You can get his whole collection of his work.
Matt Baker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
go
pretty
ahead.
cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I put it in the chat there. Hold on, I don't know if it came up properly. Oh, it did. Okay, good. Yeah, I just want to make sure it came up properly in the thing. There we go. That first one, I apologize. I don't know why it did that, but yeah, it should be good on the other one. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing more that you come up with, Dominic, on things.
Well, in the next 2 weeks, we have got some good. We're going back to our sisters, and we're gonna continue our Black Girl Magic segments, and we're going to have a special guest in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to that. Next week is going to be really awesome. We're going to talk about, for these next 2 weeks, the top 2 Black women, the top 2 Black women in all of comic books, in graphic novels, not just comic books, but in graphic novels, period.
All right.
So these women are powerful. These women have tea at the White House. Understand? They are on that level. And
they're that girl.
Yes. So we're gonna have a special guest on who's also a author. I don't know if we want to say, maybe we'll announce it next week. Yeah, we won't say yet.
Yeah, we'll wait.
But I'm really excited because we also want to promote her book as well. And but she's going to weigh in on this Black Girl Magic that we see in publishing. And so I'm really excited to hear what she has to say.
Here she goes. Just a mess. She's like, can we have a Dominic's Beard segment?
You are too much.
Like with a braid out or twist out. You know, go to sleep, girl. Take a nap. Right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for always supporting the Unusual Mavericks, and also checking in with your unusualness, because everybody has a gift within themselves that's different. Also, definitely check out the Unusual Mavericks, the podcast, which is coming out really soon, and that's going to be in September, towards the end of September. I think. Did we give a date for that last week? I think we gave a date.
I think you did.
I don't know if I gave a date or if I told the staff the date. I think I told the staff. But yeah, keep an eye out. We have a lot of new things coming. September is going to be a huge month for Pyro Media, so I'm looking forward to all of the awesomeness that's happening. And even on Bullet and Flight, just everything, everybody la-da-da all the way around. So it's just going to be a really dope month. So shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to all of the Mavericks. If you are watching on the replay, thank you so much. Make sure you guys hit that like button on your way out. And we will see you guys on the next one. And until then, stay unusual, and make sure you do us a favor and share. And let if you know of any other blurs out there, let them know about the show. It does help, and we would love to have them on if you are a blurred yourself. So, all right.
Yes.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.